So I just read something that honestly shocked me, and I need to talk about it because this could be the official end of Jada and Will's relationship. Now the two aren't officially divorced, but they confirmed they have been separated while still maintaining a relationship with each other for about 10 years now. According to tabloid reports close to the situation, Jada Smith is reportedly ready to walk away from her 28-year relationship to Will Smith. And the reason? This new sexual harassment lawsuit that just dropped. Insiders are saying she's sick and tired of the constant drama, and this lawsuit might be the final straw. One source literally said Jada is sick of being collateral damage. After everything they've been through publicly, this could be what finally ends it. What's up everyone? Welcome back to another video. But if you're new to the channel and enjoy celebrity deep dives or keeping up with the latest news out of Hollywood, consider subscribing and joining me on my quest to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching. Now let's get into it. But let me back up and explain what's actually happening, because the lawsuit itself is pretty serious. Will Smith just got hit with a $3 million lawsuit from a violinist who was on his tour, and the allegations are not light. We're talking sexual harassment, wrongful termination, and retaliation. This is coming at literally the worst possible time because Will just signed this huge multi-film deal with Paramount back in September, like 4 months ago. He was finally getting his career back on track after the Oscars slap with Chris Rock in 2022. And now this happens. And apparently, it's destroying his relationship with Jada Smith. The guy who filed the lawsuit is Brian King Joseph. You might recognize him from America's Got Talent back in 2018, where he was a finalist playing electric violin. According to the lawsuit filed in December 30th in Los Angeles Superior Court, Brian is accusing Will and his management company, Treyball Studios, of sexual harassment, wrongful termination, and retaliation during Will's Based on a True Story tour in 2025. Brian claims he first met Will in November 2024 after being referred by other artists. He went to Will's house, showed off his violin skills, and was invited to join Will's global tour and work on his upcoming album. The lawsuit says their relationship got closer over time, and Will allegedly told Brian things like, "You and I have such a special connection that I don't have with anyone else." Brian's interpreting these comments as grooming behavior. But the main incident that led to this lawsuit happened in March 2025 in Las Vegas. Brian was on the first leg of Will's tour with a show scheduled in Vegas. According to the lawsuit, Brian's room key and bag went missing for several hours. When he got back to his hotel room that night, he claimed someone had entered it without permission. What he found is disturbing. There were wipes, a beer bottle, a red backpack, an earring, a bottle of HIV medication with someone else's name on it, hospital discharge paperwork for a person Brian didn't know, and a handwritten note that said, "Brian, I'll be back no later, 5:30, just us," with a drawn heart signed Stone F. Brian says he interpreted this as a clear threat that someone was going to come back and try and engage in sexual acts with him. And here's where things get really bad for Will. Sources say this whole situation has put him in what they're calling a dark mood, and Jada is apparently at a breaking point. Remember, they've been married for 28 years, but they've been separated since 2016, even though they never officially divorced. They dealt with so much public drama already. The entanglement with August Alsina, the Oscar slap, Jada's memoir about their unconventional marriage, and now this lawsuit. According to insiders, people in Jada's world are telling her this could be the final straw. She's reportedly sick of being collateral damage in Will's controversies. He called hotel security, notified Will's representatives, and called police. He took photos and requested a room change. Hotel security said there were no forced entry signs and that only management team members would have had access. Instead of investigating, a management team member allegedly confronted Brian days later and accused him of making everything up, saying, "Everyone is telling me that what happened to you is a lie." Brian was shamed, then fired. They said the tour was moving in a different direction, but another violinist was hired immediately to replace him. The lawsuit argues this proves the termination was retaliation. Brian's attorney says his client suffered severe emotional distress, economic loss, and reputational harm. The lawsuit mentions Brian developed PTSD from the experience. His career got derailed. He was supposed to be on a major tour with one of the biggest stars in the world, and suddenly, it all vanished. Will Smith's lawyer came out swinging with a strong denial. His attorney said the allegations are false, baseless, and reckless, and they're categorically denied. Will's team is calling these allegations completely made up. But it's not just about the lawsuit, it's about what this is doing to his personal life. Will is reportedly absolutely beside himself. Even though he's convinced the claims are baseless, his name is being dragged through the mud all over again, just when he thought he was making a comeback. And this is where Jada comes in. The strife from this lawsuit has put Will in a dark mood, and Jada is fed up. After 28 years of marriage and everything they've been through, insiders say this could be what finally makes her walk away. One source told the National Enquirer she's sick and tired of the constant drama. A lot of people in the world are saying this could be the final straw. Another source said she's sick of being collateral damage. Think about what that means. Collateral damage. Jada spent years dealing with the fallout from Will's actions. The Oscar slap damaged both their reputations, and now this lawsuit is dragging her back into negative headlines. She's not even involved, but her name is in every article because she's Will's wife, and reportedly, she's done with it. But here's why this is such a disaster for Will's career. In September 2025, just 4 months before this lawsuit, Will signed a massive first-look deal with Paramount Pictures. This marked his official comeback after the 2022 Oscar slap. That moment made Will an outcast in Hollywood. He was banned from the Oscars for 10 years. Projects got cancelled. But then Bad Boys Ride or Die came out in 2024 and made over $400 million worldwide. It proved Will was still bankable, so Paramount signed him to develop big franchise movies. The deal included projects like Sugar Bandits and Rabbit Hole. These are supposed to be Will's big comeback vehicles. Sources say Will was really hyped about this being his time for a real comeback. He felt like he'd finally rehabilitated his image, and now this lawsuit drops, and he's absolutely beside himself. His name is being dragged through the mud all over again just when he was feeling like he had momentum. Let me give you context on their relationship to understand why this could be the breaking point. Will and Jada got married in 1997. For years, they presented themselves as a power couple, but behind the scenes, things were way more complicated. In 2020, Jada admitted on her Red Table talk show that she had a relationship with singer August Alsina while she and Will were separated. She called it an entanglement. But the point is, their marriage hasn't been traditional. They've been separated since 2016, but never got divorced. They talk about having an open marriage. Then came the Oscar slap in 2022. Will slapped Chris Rock for making a joke about Jada's hair. It derailed his entire career, and Jada had to deal with the public scrutiny too. People were blaming her for Will's behavior, dragging her into the controversy, even though she didn't ask Will to do that. In 2023, Jada released her memoir revealing even more about their marriage. She confirmed they've been separated for years, and while doing press for the book, she had to constantly talk about Will instead of focusing on her own story. Again, collateral damage. So now you have this lawsuit, and Jada is looking at this as yet another situation where Will's actions are affecting her life. She didn't sign up for this controversy. She's not on trial, but her name is in the headlines anyway, and reportedly, she's reached her limit. The lawsuit was filed on December 30th, right before New Year's. Brian also posted something on Instagram recently alluding to the incident before the lawsuit was filed. The lawsuit is filed under California's Fair Employment and Housing Act. Brian's claiming sexual harassment, wrongful termination, and retaliation. Retaliation claims are strong in California because if you report harassment and get fired shortly after, that looks suspicious. The grooming allegations are harder to prove. Brian's pointing to things like Will saying they had a special connection, inviting him to work on the album, and the hotel incident, but Will's team denies all of it. Brian isn't directly accusing Will of entering his hotel room. The note was signed Stone F, but Brian argues Will and his management created an environment where this could happen and then retaliated when he reported it. Will hasn't made any public statements beyond his lawyer's denial. He's staying quiet, which is probably smart legally, but the court of public opinion is different. Some defend Will, others say where there's smoke, there's fire. We've seen a lot of allegations in recent years. Sometimes they're true, sometimes they're not. The legal system will figure it out, but Will's reputation is taking a hit regardless. Brian is seeking $3 million in damages. Will's team promised to fight aggressively. This could mean settlement negotiations or a full trial with months of legal proceedings. If it does go to trial, private details about Will's tour and personal conduct could become public record, which is risky for any celebrity trying to make a comeback. For Brian, if he wins, it could vindicate him and prove his claims. If he loses, people might dismiss him as someone who made false accusations. And look, I want to be clear about something. These are allegations. Will Smith is entitled to the presumption of innocence. We don't know what actually happened. What we know is what's been alleged in the lawsuit and what Will's lawyers has said. Everything else is pure speculation. But what's undeniable is that this is a massive problem for Will's career right now. He spent 3 years rebuilding after the Oscars slap. He did interviews, apologized publicly, focused on his music, made Bad Boys 4, which was huge, and signed the Paramount deal. He was finally feeling like he was back. And now this lawsuit threatens all that progress. The National Enquirer's sources say Will has a horrible feeling about his name being dragged through the mud all over again. He worked hard to come back, and now he's dealing with a whole new controversy that could be even more damaging. There's also the question of how Paramount will react. They signed this big deal with Will just 4 months ago. Are they going to stand by him or distance themselves? We haven't heard from Paramount yet, but you can bet they're watching the situation closely. The projects Will has in development, like Sugar Bandits and Rabbit Hole, could be affected depending on how this plays out. If public sentiment turns strongly against Will, Paramount might not want him as a star anymore. There's also been some skepticism about his comeback efforts even before this lawsuit. Some people love seeing the Fresh Prince rap again, others think it feels desperate. So even before this lawsuit, Will's comeback was already getting questioned. This just piles on top of all of that. For Will, the strategy seems to be complete denial and aggressive defense. His lawyer called the allegations false, baseless, and reckless. That's a strong statement. They're not leaving any room for ambiguity. They're saying this is all made up, period. The $3 million Brian is seeking covers his economic losses from being fired, his emotional distress and PTSD treatment, and his reputational harm. From Will's perspective, paying a settlement would be like admitting validity to the claims, so they're probably not eager to settle unless they think a trial could be worse. The discovery process could be interesting. Both sides will hand over documents, emails, texts, and other evidence, communications between Will and Brian, phone records, hotel footage, witness testimony. All of that could either support or undermine Brian's claims. We'll also see if other people from the tour come forward with similar stories, or if they defend Will and say Brian's making this up. The specific items allegedly found in the room matter to the case. If they can be verified, they support Brian's claims. If not, it hurts his credibility. The note signed Stone F is a mystery. Who is that? If Stone F is connected to Will's tour, that supports Brian's argument. If not, it raises questions. And think about the optics for Paramount. They invested in Will thinking they were getting a bankable star with a redemption story. Instead, they're now associated with a sexual harassment lawsuit. They're in a tough position. And now, on top of all of that, Will's marriage might be ending. Looking at the bigger picture, this case is about workplace safety in the entertainment industry. If Brian's allegations are true, they represent a serious failure by tour management to protect their employee. The management company could be liable for creating a hostile work environment, failing to investigate properly, and retaliating by firing Brian. Even if Will personally didn't do anything wrong, the company could still be held responsible under California law. This whole situation is messy from every angle. You've got serious allegations of sexual misconduct and grooming. You've got a wrongful termination claim. You've got a Hollywood comeback story potentially falling apart, a major studio deal in jeopardy, and most dramatically, a 28-year marriage that might finally be ending. Two very different versions of what happened with the lawsuit, with Will's team categorically denying everything and Brian's team saying they have a strong case. Over the next few months, we'll see how this plays out in court. There'll be motions filed, maybe settlement negotiations, definitely legal maneuvering. If it goes to trial, that won't happen until late 2026 or even 2027. In the meantime, the court of public opinion will keep debating, and Will's reputation will continue taking hits. But honestly, the most interesting part of this story to me is what's happening with Jada. If these sources are right and she really is ready to walk away, that would be huge. After everything they've been through, after staying together through the separation, the entanglement, the Oscar slap, the memoir, all of it, this lawsuit could be the thing that finally ends their marriage. That sick of being collateral damage quote really stuck with me because you can feel the exhaustion in it, you know? Like she's just done dealing with the consequences of Will's choices. And you have to wonder, if Jada does leave, how does that affect Will's mental state and his ability to fight this lawsuit? He's already reportedly in the dark mood. Losing his marriage on top of everything could send him spiraling. Or maybe it would force him to finally get his life together and deal with whatever's going on. Who knows? What's your take on all this? Do you think Jada should leave Will over this? Or should she stick by him since he says the allegations are false? Do you believe Brian King Joseph's claims? Or do you think Will is telling the truth? And if their marriage does end, do you think that would help or hurt Will's career in the long run? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I'm really curious what you all think about this. And if you enjoy celebrity deep dives or keeping up with the latest news out of Hollywood, consider subscribing and joining me on my quest to 1,000 subscribers. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.